All right. Legacy talk. Devin Hester. And I don't know if this is nostalgia for me, but this guy has to be in. I mean, I would. It's like kickers and punters. Like eventually, you have if the guys are clearly the best of their craft, you got to put them in. But there's people like Adam Vinatieri shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. Why? Because he's that position. Like Peyton Hillis. I mean, he didn't have a long enough run. But guys like fullbacks, if you're clearly like, I think
Mike
Kyle
Allstott. Mike Allstott. There's one you can use.
Yeah, I think Mike Allstott. How about Kyle Juszczyk? Might be Hall of Famers if you think about it. Just best of their craft for years and years and years and years. Why can't they be in?
I mean, I can understand it if you're having a special teams wing because there's guys like Brian Mitchell who did it for so long. He's probably before your time, but he was
I've heard about him.
An incredible kick returner and punt returner. And you're right. I mean, Devin Hester has 19 return touchdowns all time. As far as being a Hall of Fame player, I think it's the same as adding a designated hitter. If David Ortiz can go in the Hall of Fame without rarely, if ever, playing the field, right. You're looking at just the offensive numbers on him, then a guy who, primarily plays
play wide receiver.
But even then, he still had 3,000 yards receiving and 16 and 16 receiving touchdowns, albeit mostly in Chicago. The Atlanta and Baltimore experiments didn't go really well. But yeah, I don't see why. I mean, if you classify him specifically, special teams, kick return, this is why he's in the Hall of Fame. This is what he did. This was his impact on the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the all-time leader in return touchdowns by like a mile. Yeah. Like it's not the second guy's not even close. Then absolutely, I think he's absolutely should be a Hall of Famer in that retrospect. If the NFL is not going to acknowledge special teams and you're just putting him in as a player, then no, unfortunately.
Yeah, the NFL isn't going to acknowledge him in the Hall of Fame and just get rid of it on the field. I don't understand it. Like those guys should not exist then. I mean, I'm all for special teams, but the NFL is going to play this card, then I'm going to play it right back.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason why it's really hard, like for other sports, like to get a relief pitcher in the Hall of Fame, or even goalies is so hard to get in the Hall of Fame.
Which is sad.
Goalies to me are far more important than a kick returner or a punt returner. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, if we're classifying special teams wing, then absolutely. And you're right. They're the third aspect of the game. So,
and the fact that he did it in the Super Bowl to me makes it even better.
I mean, yeah. Who are you comparing Devin Hester to in terms of, like, if we're comparing him to Randy Moss? No. But if you're putting him in a classification of his own as far as returning,
that's what I'm doing. Yes.
Then he's absolutely in. The other caveat I can see is as the game progresses, returns have just become less and less likely, especially on kickoffs, obviously.
Yes.
So what he has done even becomes that much more impressive, but it's also disappearing. So it's tough. I can see the arguments for both sides on not putting him in because he's such a specialist. But like you said, yeah, kickers and punters, they don't go in either. So why not? Why not have the wing for special team? I mean, a punter like Johnny Hecker who can down punts, hell, even throw fake punt passes when necessary. Like, there's a special place in there, and they're a position on the field, and they're the most elite at their position over long periods of time. And yeah, there should be a place for these people, these types of
now, long snappers, you might have to play 25 years in order to get in for me. But like a punter, if you're an all-time great punter or kicker or whatever, like Michael Dixon of the Seahawks, if he keeps on doing what he's doing, come on.
Yeah, I mean, punting would be an interesting one to try to get what's an elite punter. I mean, obviously coffin corner, downs inside the 20, how you do it standing in your own end zone, things like that. Punting's a little more difficult, but yeah, kickers and return specialists, which don't really exist anymore as far as specialists, right. It's a little tougher, I think.